GTA 6, an exclusive deep dive into the video game of the decade. The pressure of Grand Theft Auto 6 to deliver the holy grail of gaming is enormous. We talk to Rockstar's epic team of creative talents to uncover its secrets. Nice. This is images we've seen before, and this is new. I've not seen this before. Have you seen this before? Am I crazy? Some of these are new. Oh, damn. I would definitely remember seeing that. What's his name again? Raul, that's it, yeah. You're looking sick. I think we've seen a similar image to this, but not this exact one. We've seen them in these outfits before. High Life Hotel, this dress as well. The new shop. Oh, it describes them up here. Lucia wears all clothes and glasses, stock 305. Jason wears all clothes and glasses. Nola, watch, whatever that is. Lucia wears archive dress. I can't say these names. Jason, okay, it's just describing their clothing, I see. This is Roxy and Raul. On the sweltering Leonida Keys, sweat slicks the skin of two lovers on the run as they toast new beginnings, watching the sun set over the water. A breeze blows through their hair and you can almost feel the condensation dripping from the cold beer bottles in their hands. In the background, locals gather on the weather-beaten dock, indifferent to the story unfolding between the outlaws. Elsewhere, a few miles north, 10 bodies of all shapes and sizes swarm the sand of Vice Beach. Further north still, locals are caked in mud, kicked up from the back of a dirt bike or splattered on the stars and stripes bikini. This is like describing stuff that we've seen in the marketing material. And as night falls back in Vice City, sweaty crowds surge to deafening hip-hop beats spilling out from clubs on the neon-lit streets. It's been 13 years since Rockstar Games released Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the most acclaimed and controversial video games of all time. And it's been roughly the same amount of time since work began on its sequel, Grand Theft Auto 6, which transports the action of San Andreas, closely inspired by real-life Southern California, to Leonida, based on Florida. It's more than a decade of anticipation, meaning there's unprecedented pressure on the follow-up to meet expectations, as Rob Nelson, head of development and co-studio head at Rockstar North, tells Dazed. However, I don't know that any amount of external pressure could compare with the pressure we put on ourselves as a team. If you accept that video games are an art form, which you should, then Rockstar Games has produced two of the most significant works of the 21st century so far, Grand Theft Auto 5 and the Western-themed adventure Red Dead Redemption 2. The numbers speak for themselves. In 2013, the former broke the record for the fastest-selling entertainment product of all time, earning $1 billion in just 3 days, more than any book or Hollywood film. 5 years later, Red Dead Redemption 2 took the second spot, but the latter also came with a gear shift. While GTA satirizes modern life with wacky characters, high-octane car chases, and explosive gunfights, Red Dead Redemption 2 is hailed as one of the most realistic and immersive games to date, with a slower, more emotional tone suited to its storyline. Fair description. GTA 6 promises something in between the two, which we've expected. The open-world game is set in the same fictionalized US that serves as the backdrop for the rest of the series, with all the weapons and supercars you'd expect, but the world is more grounded and reactive than before. Gone are the days where you could traverse the city like a god. Now players' actions have consequences. Walk down the street with a rifle, and the city will have something to say about it. More and more, the games are converging on real life, and non-player characters, NPCs, are acting, well, less like NPCs than ever. For some gamers, there's a fear what Grand Theft Auto 6 gains in immersion, it loses in the chaos and anarchy that have been part of the series' DNA since the outset. But for Rockstar, the goal is to create a world of total immersion, which reacts more realistically than ever to what you choose to make of it. No wonder they're so focused on roleplay, because this just sounds like a lot of roleplay stuff. This might not be a sort of game you can speedrun. Oh no. We look back at our previous games with a critical eye and see where we want to evolve based on what we did, what we didn't do, as well as what we would have liked to, either because we didn't have time, resources, or technological capabilities, or in some cases things we just didn't do as well or consider as fully as we could have, says Nelson. A lot of what we do is very iterative. We adjust a lot of things by feel based on what is working and what isn't. The story has evolved too, with higher stakes and characters grounded in all aspects of the story they inhabit. Players step into the shoes of Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos, an ex-military drug runner and a fighter fresh out of prison, respectively. Oh, well, there you go. So Jason is an ex-military drug runner, and Lucia is a fighter fresh out of prison. So the leak didn't really spoil that, I guess, because it's going to be written here. And you can choose to either play as a couple or go off and cause chaos independently. Oh, really? I wonder how that's achieved. Like if you say you want to go around as a couple, the other character is just controlled with you, I guess. This marks the first time that a GTA game has featured a playable couple in the lead role, which makes for some unique scenarios. On the way to a job, for example, players can cruise along the highway as Jason, or swap to Lucia in the passenger seat to scroll on the in-game phone. Oh, guess we're not always going to need to drive. Yes, there are working social media feeds. What satirical take on 2020's America would be complete without them? When the job inevitably goes wrong and spirals into a car chase, the fluid system enables players to take the wheel in one moment, then fire on pursuers out of the passenger window the next. That's interesting. And afterwards, when it's all blown over, they can skim across the waves on a jet ski, admiring the Leonida seascape and leaping dolphins with their arms wrapped around their partner's waist. Aww. True romance like Jason and Lucia's usually takes a back seat in GTA games, which, when it comes to matters of love and sex, are more commonly associated with strip clubs and underground sex work. But GTA 6 is very consciously staged as a Bonnie and Clyde type narrative, says Rupert Humphreys, Senior Vice President of Narrative at Rockstar. The trailers alone feature a slew of intimate cutscenes from Jason and Lucia's own fugitive tale, which showcases the special attention that Rockstar's arts and technology teams have paid to how bodies look and feel. A hand on a rib cage, hips swinging on a packed dance floor. For some gamers, the story might even serve as one of their earliest encounters with a romantic, albeit crime-ridden relationship, where their choices can have repercussions that cut much deeper than Rockstar's previous titles, or honor systems that reward conscientious gameplay. That's interesting. So this seems to be communicating that they've taken in all the criticism that nothing we really do matters in the story. That it's possible that we could maybe even ruin our relationship, or ruin the relationship between the two characters, where the choices we make will finally have repercussions. The leaks seem even more of a nothing burger now. Yes, what is being described here is not at all communicated by the leaks, right? This sounds awesome. The thing we love about this medium is the way these characters aren't empty avatars that you can do whatever you want with. Their story becomes a journey you share with them. I like this. I'm not a person who likes silent protagonists. I want a gripping, amazing story. I wonder if the online's going to be the same though, silent protagonist again. Lucia is also the first fully fleshed out female lead in a mainline GTA game. Before her, it's female protagonists all the way down, dating back to 1999. Grand Theft Auto's 1997 debut featured a 50-50 split of male and female protagonists, but they weren't really that much of a character, right? But anyway. Previous installments, including GTA 5, drew criticism for misogynistic themes and underdeveloped female characters. Female characters? I think that female characters were as fleshed out as the male ones, really. Well, as far as like side characters are concerned, right? Well, maybe that's not true. I mean, like Molly is not really fleshed out. Well, there's definitely more fleshed out male characters than there are female ones. There's equivalently fleshed out male and female characters. But I think the criticism is valid in terms of saying there's not many developed female characters. But the series has evolved and hopes to attract more female gamers to its previously male-heavy player base. Speaking of my own analytics, 95% male. In Lucia and Jason, they've created characters with rich, complex identities while still leaving ample room for players to make them their own. The joy of GTA is as much about what players do with the moments in between story beats though, and Rockstar offers what has been, up until now, as close to true freedom as you're going to get within the confines of a virtual world. We want to enable as much self-expression as possible, says Nelson, without losing the essence of the characters. Take GTA 5's version of 2010's Los Angeles, for example. You could rampage through the streets with an assault rifle or a tank, cruise by the Pacific in an open-top car blasting Frank Ocean, or even relax with a round of golf. Red Dead Redemption 2 pushed things even further. Between shootouts, the player-controlled protagonist Arthur Morgan could retreat into the wild to fish, hunt big game, make a campfire under the geographically accurate stars, or lose time drinking and gambling in remote frontier towns. Come down out of the mountains a few in-game weeks later, and he'd have grown a long beard and a mane of hair and visibly lost some weight, or gained it, depending on your skill with the bow and arrow. Bar fights, meanwhile, would leave him bruised and scarred. GTA 6 marks the return and expansion of these interactive systems that alter the protagonist's bodies. Food affects Jason and Lucia's weight, while exercising visibly builds and tones their muscles, which the leaks kind of showcase, because there's a whole exercise equipment system at Jason's house. And of course, there's eateries this time around, like there's restaurants and stuff which didn't exist in GTA 5, and I guess now we know that it does affect their weight. This is something they were going to put in GTA 5, by the way, weight mechanics. They just didn't have time. Well, at least there's some evidence to that. And if you end up spending a long time away from your bed, or on the run from police, or on a multi-day bender, their features are going to pay the price for that as well. So I guess that's the focus bar, right? The leaks continuously show the focus bar being full because it's always early footage, as if the characters just spawned. But I guess maybe the focus bar will go down as you get more tired. And maybe you look more haggard, and your shooting will be harder and stuff. Or maybe even your driving will be worse, which will be interesting. The effect is a bit like the picture of Dorian Gray, only instead of your soul being recorded on a spooky painting in the attic, your habits and sins are written onto the faces and bodies of the game's avatars. This kind of interactivity is unique to video games, shaping the virtual world and the player's responses to it in turn. Between visual feedback mechanisms, deep relationship mechanics, and the heightened realism of the world they inhabit, people might even think twice about going on the arcade-style rampages of GTA games gone by once they land in Leonida. Like, seeing that footage of that guy gunning down the nudists and stuff, I was just like, the game looks too realistic for me to just, okay, I don't think I've ever played GTA and just randomly kill people for no reason, unless they fuck with me first. In those contexts, yes. But, you know. We will meet with ex-criminals, law enforcement, club promoters, gun dealers, and anyone notorious or influential who will take our calls. We hang out, get a feel for the place, listen to the stories. Jamie Lee Lloyd, Senior Art Director for Characters. Vice City, the heart of GTA 6's Leonida, is based on Miami. This means players can expect encounters with virtual iterations of Florida Man, the cultural archetype turned meme known in real life for wrangling alligators, drunken antics, and literal Grand Theft Auto. But these outsized characters are just one bizarre facet of a world built with an open mind, a genuine appreciation, and deep curiosity towards the culture it's based on, says GTA 6 game writer Michael Waif. It's easy to go in with a cynical view and say, well, that's weird, put it in the game, but we couldn't just stop there. We have to bring a sense of discovery to the players too, not just repeat cliches that already exist. To do that requires years of on-the-ground exploration. Various groups of Rockstar employees have visited Miami and its surrounding areas over the last decade, and there is a dedicated research team embedded in the city. That first-hand contact helps us understand the visual markers and nuances that define the identities we want to represent, explains Jamie Lee Lloyd, Senior Art Director for Characters, while filtering them through the unique lens of GTA and the stories we want to tell. When we were in Miami, I met with people who explained to me that Rockstar had been there and had gone into buildings to map the interiors of buildings, and had even gone to locals and said, hey, do you want to voice characters in the game? To get that absolute authentic feel, you know, in a very similar way to what they did in Los Angeles, right? Humphreys agrees that these experiences are essential, noting that a majority of the game's characters are born out of this research, which includes meeting real people who call the state home. See, yeah, well, this again. We will meet with ex-criminals, law enforcement, club promoters, gun dealers, and anyone notorious or influential who will take our calls. We hang out, get a feel for the place, listen to the stories, cross-reference that with books and journalism, and try to get to the heart of which characters will bring the city we are creating to life. In GTA 6, this cast includes various criminals from old-school drug runner Brian Heder and his conspiracy-obsessed associate, Cal Hampton, the suave bank robber Raul Bautista. I'm so bad at names. Elsewhere, the lines are blurrier. Vice City legend Booby Ike oversees a private empire including the Jack of Hearts strip club, a GTA staple, and a music studio, overseen by the young opportunistic Draquan Priest. We love Miami music, particularly Miami bass, going through to more recent Miami artists like Kodak Black and Sexy Red, says Humphreys. Again, Rockstar loves their music. We were also really interested in how the hip-hop scene in Miami exists, in house parties in Overtown, clubs like Booby Trap on the river, and then high-end places on South Beach where bottles can cost thousands of dollars. We needed characters who could take us through those worlds. In the years since the release of the last game, the music industry has witnessed a shift in focus towards female artists, as represented in the game's rising stars, real dimes, whose journey can be traced via in-game viral social media posts. That's interesting. So what, we're gonna watch this character become progressively famous over the course of our time playing the game? And I guess we'll like occasionally interact in missions with her. In the same way, I guess we were helping Solomon Richards get his movie made, we'll end up helping her get her music made. GTA 6's brands reflect the aspirations, aesthetics, and lifestyles of the people that inhabit our world spaces. Stu Petrie, Vice President of 2D and UI Design. With characters like these, anchored in a specific place and time, is there a risk of tipping back into reductive Miami parodies, especially given the game's long lifespan? If today we look back on GTA 5's hipsters and geeky tech bros as a kind of 2010s time capsule, what kinds of cultural archetypes will we look back on when we revisit GTA 6 in another 13 years? And will they remain true to how we experience them in the present day? Looking back at GTA 5, all the types of characters in that game are still present now. Outside of like references to Kale and stuff, I think the game is just as relevant today. It is clearly set in 2013, but I don't think it's so anchored in that time that it doesn't still poke fun at today, right? Good chance GTA 6 ages like milk by 2030? Really? Why? I don't know about that. I feel like in a way that culture is progressing slower. Maybe that's just me. As in, I think we've talked about this before, like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s all felt distinctly different. you know? And like we have specific styles and music associated with them. The 2000s onwards have kind of all blended together without as much of a defining difference line, right? I think. And I think maybe because of things like AI that constantly regurgitates what already exists, I think it's going to even more slow down and make cultural development more as a spectrum, a slow moving mesh, rather than like a hard cut change. 2010s have been pretty different. Maybe in the 2010s then, you could say. I think maybe when the internet started to become ubiquitous. No, here's what. When the internet became just a handful of websites, rather than individual communities, I think that's the point where culture kind of started to slow down and stopped reinventing as fast, right? The artists, writers, and developers at Rockstar are conscious of the tightrope they're walking. Take Stu Petrie, Vice President of 2D and UI Design, who has overseen much of the careful world building in GTA 6, including the many in-game products, brands, shops, and campaigns that bear more than a passing resemblance to their real-life counterparts. Our vision is to build a vibrant, believable culture, he says, meaning that every brand, from fashion label to car company, has to feel like more than just a one-off joke, as if it actually exists and serves a real purpose in Leonida's cultural ecosystem. It's a hard balance to strike, making sexual innuendos, but also making it feel like the actual real products that exist. These brands reflect the aspirations, aesthetics, and lifestyles of the people that inhabit our world spaces. Drop into the game as Jason or Lucia, and they come to reflect your inner life as well, lending an extra layer of meaning to each haircut or outfit choice. Given their focus on the kind of realism and these sort of roleplay elements, there's going to be a loss of character customization. Doing Lucia's nails and, well, I guess you can build muscle and stuff. And you can have like an entire wardrobe, like 50 different outfits and stuff for every occasion. The potential to explore a diversity of cultures and lifestyles is partly why the series ended up circling back to Vice City and the state of Leonida in the first place. Nelson suggests Florida and Miami have perhaps one of the most diverse and interesting populations in the world. Having been there, I agree. Miami had this sort of living cultural feel that I've never felt anywhere before. It felt like a vibrant, energetic place. It just had a different vibe, as I say, that I've never felt anywhere else. It was entirely different to Los Angeles, for example. When I went to Miami, I was like, I can understand why people would go here and be like, we should set half our games in this location. Few know this better than Miami-based stylist Julian Carr, who has worked with Rockstar since 2023, designing an in-game fashion ecosystem that aims to reflect all the nuances of taste, lifestyle, affluence, and individuality that are displayed in the city, and in America as a whole. Vice City is built around vanity, says Carr. Between social media, celebrity culture, and a constant flow of tourists, appearances carry significant weight, and trend cycles turn over quickly. This brings us back to the background NPCs. Young and old, tall or short, tattooed, pierced or modified with plastic surgery, wearing throwback Hawaiian shirts, sharp suits, luxury fashion, or muddy combat gear. The bodies and clothes of the virtual masses are also far more varied than in previous games, and more tailored to their local environments, from Vice City's Little Cuba to the wilderness of Mount Caliga National Park. To bring that diversity to life in-game, we developed new tools and pipelines that enabled us to build the most detailed and varied character populations we've ever created, says Lloyd. Even in the leaks, that is really, really obvious. Just the amazing diversity of the NPCs. But ultimately, he adds, making that population feel authentic comes from more than appearance alone. It's the combination of how a character looks, moves, interacts, and expresses themselves, brought together through collaboration across multiple teams. Wave hopes that all of these systems working together deliver a landscape that players feel they've been dropped into and are made to endlessly roam around in. As a person who roamed around in GTA 5 for, 13,000 hours, I am looking forward to roaming around in this place as well. To pull off the technical and cultural feats required to build a world of the scale, depth, and interactivity of GTA 6, the Rockstar team has more than doubled in size since the release of Red Dead Redemption 2? What? That's wild. I guess they did open Rockstar India, right? That was a very new branch, right? It has offices around the world, with one branch in LA dedicated almost solely to the world of in-game pedestrians, NPCs. More than 50 real street artists were brought in to design murals in places like Vice City's Stockyard, based on Wynwood, Miami. Amazing art in Wynwood. If you've watched my videos when I was in Miami, like just everywhere, it's incredible. The team that deals with vehicle handling is made up of literal race car drivers. This we've heard as well. They're taking this shit seriously, guys. You gotta respect it. No wonder costs reportedly skyrocketed so much this development cycle? Yeah, I guess so. Hope it pays off for them. It will, right? It will. Again, it all adds up to a lot of pressure, and not only because the investment of time, money, and effort is on par with several wonders of the world. At the time of writing, there's an online rumor that the game costs more to build than the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. But also because, if all goes well, this is a work of art that people could spend the next decade with, at least. It is a lot of pressure internally and externally, but that pressure is ultimately a privilege we know we are fortunate to have, says Nelson. All we want to do is deliver for our audience. Respect. That is a lot. This was a great read. It really gave a good sense of where they are at with the game in terms of their mentality. I think it's all stuff we could have inferred. There's only a few little nuggets there that really hone in on new stuff we didn't know before. But this is a sick picture. It just reminds me of me and my partner. She and I could absolutely do this. And I'm working out now, guys. I got a personal trainer. I am building muscle, and I'm gonna be doing this forever. I'm gonna be built like Jason, and then me and Aitana will reenact some of this stuff. This article is better than any leak we have gotten before from CyberLeak. Absolutely. Which is impressive considering it's only a small amount of visuals. Guys, there's another GTA 6 leak. Oh my god, crazy. And it's called Rideout Customs. Doesn't seem to involve Lucia, despite him saying that he would release that. Will that come later? Who knows? Rockstar posted a tweet. We know that many of you have been waiting to hear from us regarding the events of the past week. It would be an understatement to say that having videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 gameplay leak in this way has been heartbreaking for our team, and this is obviously not how we intended for you to see the game after all this time. We are very sorry that everything has taken as long as it has, from getting the game finished, nearly there, to sharing more details and official gameplay, and providing the community with everything you want to know. We are very excited for everyone to see the extended look tomorrow. It has taken longer than we wanted to get it ready, but as with everything we do, we know we need to exceed your expectations, and we are determined to deliver at the level you expect and deserve. While it is unfortunate that the intended game experience may now be impacted by some spoilers, we hope that everyone will wait a bit longer to experience the game for themselves on November 19th. We want to thank everyone in the community who has reached out with messages of support this past week. Your words have meant more to this team than you can imagine. Ultimately, we are making this game for you, and without you, we would not have the privilege of making games. We look forward to sharing more with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. It's not much of a statement, really. I mean, it's what you'd expect, really. Like, it doesn't really give us any information about what's been going on. It's more like just an acknowledgement of what's going on rather than something that reveals any information about who this guy is or how they got the stuff, right? This clip is 1 minute and 49 seconds. It starts off in front of a rainbow-looking building. The text on screen is, how does CyberLeak drive? Bus on the beach plus cops. Let's get 50 mil trading volume. Sick. So Jason runs and steals a car. A car on the road that has lights underneath it, showing that it's been modded. Very rare thing in GTA 5 for you to find modded cars on the road, so this is a good sign. Radio in the car is playing as he's pulling this guy out. He does that struggle mechanics as we've seen before. It looks like the inside's got like a leopard print on the car or something. What's that symbol on the map? It's like a heart with a crown on top of it. The car says on it, Rideout Customs, which is why I think the thing is called Rideout Customs. Oh, that's interesting. He's following the waypoint this time, and above the map it says turn right 34 feet and then a right turn. So they've gone more of a indication of where to go. More emphasis on the GPS. There's a bar and some scissors for hairdressers. There's an ammunition, not that we get to see it. There's 2 eateries, restaurants. Why do I call them eateries? He's going past what the hell is that on the, that one I can't tell. It's a weird looking symbol. So CyberLeak asks us to judge his driving, and he immediately hits a tow truck and runs to a fence. So 1 out of 10. He's just hitting everything. This might be his first GTA. So far there's nothing to this footage. He stole a car and he's driving around. The cops sound like they do in GTA 5, yelling, stop the vehicle. Okay, so in the last 7 seconds, we get Lucia and the amazing voice acting. At the end, she says, yeah, he wanted to drive, but he drives like a bitch. Could this be in Prologue? Maybe.
Yellow double lines on the road are still floating like in GTA 5030.
Yeah, that's true. Just like in GTA 5, how the lines kind of levitate off the ground, they seem to in this game too. Not a good sign. There's some beautiful artistry, like crosswalks are rainbow colored. There's "We Love Vice City" on a wall. There's so much art. I guess this is Wynwood. I mean, from the real life in Miami, Wynwood, where all the art is on the walls. Body shop, spray shop, piss washer. There's what is that, like Oh, that's a bus stop, I think. There's a bus stop symbol on the map, which seems to indicate that, you know, buses are a thing. It looks like a little stall, a cart or something on the map, but like if you look on the actual world, it seems to be a bus stop. It disappears when he gets in the car, though. And when he's driving by it, you can see it as well. So yeah, there seems to be a working bus system. There's quite a few tattoo places, but they don't have a symbol. I wonder if they can still be used. That's about it. There's Vice City Arts Center, and that's it. It's about nothing really to the leaks. It's wild Rockstar posted straight after he did this. Coincidence? I think not. Rockstar's in on it. 100%. This still all sucks. Hopefully the Netflix extended look at GTA 6 will put all this to bed. So it seems as though the prologue of GTA 6 has leaked. This is not good. So while I'm going to watch it now, I won't spoil any major things about the story or whatever. If there's snow, I'll probably tell you that there's snow, for example. The clip is 4 minutes and 34 seconds long. It's the longest clip so far. He's written on screen here, the build is actually recent and the game is not ready at all. Sony and Rockstar are killing your right to own and resell your games, and Rockstar is killing their own employees too. The work required to reach gold is way too much for so little time left. Trading volume / price is how Cyberleak measures your support. Cyberleak will not continue without support. You decide. Okay, well, if people stop giving him money, he'll stop. I somehow don't believe that. So I'm just watching it. I don't want to describe stuff because it might spoil stuff. Like I don't, like superficial stuff maybe. Like for example, there's a Uber comparator called Ride Me. Pretty funny, right? Because it's a bit of a sexual innuendo, but it also kind of works with the Uber thing. In the trailers, in the visual marketing material, we see the setting of Prologue. I don't think that's as big a spoiler, right? For everything I've seen so far, this is not much of anything. Yes, this doesn't seem to be much. The Prologue isn't as on rails as the Prologue for GTA 5. I guess it's not that surprising because the Prologue for Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't as on rails. Looking at this now, the Prologue of GTA 5, we're like there and gone like this, but this looks like a kind of an area that you can kind of immerse yourself in and actually do stuff. We see nothing. This footage is nothing. It's wild. This is 4.5 minutes of nothing. I honestly think I could tell you everything that's here and it would ruin nothing of the experience. You learn nothing here that you don't learn in the trailer. Lucia is in prison, as you see in the trailer, and all we see for 5 minutes is Lucia in prison. You learn nothing about the story. If anything, he's just kind of showing off that he has this footage, but you don't learn anything. There's some casual conversations between Lucia and some people in prison, and that's it. I guess it's an all-woman's prison. It doesn't specifically say why Lucia is in prison, just obviously communicates that she's not a particularly wealthy person. Maybe having a similar backstory to Michael, being trailer trash kind of thing, right? Like this is just me guessing, speculating, right, as to why she'd be in prison the same way we would normally. I think she just needed money and probably got caught, and it doesn't explain why. It says approach a cellmate to interact with them, and so one asks her the clue is Planet of Love because the woman's doing a crossword, and you can choose between 3 options. The woman being spoken to as Yolanda is her name, another prisoner. The Planet of Love is what? Venus? Yeah. And that turns out to be right, yeah. Oh, I think what this is the scene before the trailer where we see her being asked, do you know why you're here? And she says, bad luck, I guess. That's what you see before this. It's like the 5 minutes leading up to that. Her walking into that meeting. We don't get to see inside the room, but it's clearly very obvious that that's what this is. What's interesting is that trailer looks way better than this gameplay. Than the game looks in this footage. The trailer looks way better. That was trailer 1, right? When we heard that, right? Yeah. And that was back in 2023, end of 2023. So that build was 2+ years older than this. Maybe they put extra effort into making the cutscene look good, or it might just be because this is 1080p super compressed 4K bitrate or whatever, and that's why it doesn't look as good. One of the women around the table, her shirt is clipping into her pants in a way that's obviously broken. It's wild to me that it continues to give us footage that has nothing in it. The video is tone mapped badly, so it looks worse than this. Yeah, that too, I suppose. Yeah. So that's it. This was the biggest nothing burger I've ever seen.
Went on Twitter for bloody nothing. What a waste of internet space and time.
I cannot imagine there's a single person alive who would consider this much of a spoiler. If you watched trailer 1 and considered it a spoiler to see Lucia in prison, then you would also consider this to be a spoiler. Because it's just like that scene, but just before it, is nothing. It tells you nothing additional or new about it, unless you consider it news that Lucia needed money at some point. So the guy's coin is going down. The leak came out, it goes up, and now it's going back down again. Because people are, people realize the train is coming to an end, the gravy train or whatever. So they're trying to sell off, but anytime there's additional hype, they'll buy and sell and da-da-da. Oh yeah, I really wish I could show this to you. If you put side by side the cutscene. Okay, so, okay, where's the trailer? So this is obviously trailer 1, and in the leak, there's a very similar shot. Almost it's the exact same shot. This exact same shot is in the leak. And it looks like PlayStation 3 graphics by comparison. It is a night and day difference. No, it's the exact same shot. Like the bed is here and the picture's here and like all this is the exact same shot. It is a massive downgrade. It's like going from 4K to like 480p. I hope that this is not what the game actually looks like.
Can't wait for this person to be irrelevant tomorrow. They've done absolutely nothing but build more hype for the game emo, which I assume is the opposite of their goal.
As I've said from the get-go, I can't see how any of this is going to negatively impact the sales of the game. I think the extended look not being up to expectations has a much higher chance of having an impact on the potential sales of the game. Because while these leaks are presenting some interesting stuff in GTA 6, let's be real, it doesn't look amazing all the time, in large part because the footage is just such low quality. And it's obviously an incomplete build. I would like to see some evidence though that this is incomplete. As in, I think it's almost impossible that the game is going to release in a state like this. But I'd still like to be reassured by gameplay or something from Rockstar. Wait, thinking about it though, hold on. In the previous leak, we got a little bit of footage of Lucia, and she looks way better. That is to say, the Prologue leak that we just got, Lucia looks way worse than she did in the trailers, and she looks way worse than in the 5 seconds of cutscene that we received in the previous leak. There seems to be just something wrong with this particular Prologue footage. It's not simply a lack of makeup, like the whole scene looks weird. Is it possible he can change the quality settings and you should just put it down to like the lowest possible settings to fuck with this? I don't know. Yeah, so as Glow is saying here, maybe this is too far-fetched, but do you think he has a build and is on purpose making the game look worse to scare people, making people pump his crypto? On the leak, the words he said were, the build is actually recent and the game is not ready at all. Sony and Rockstar are killing your right to own and resell your games, and Rockstar is killing their own employees too. The work required to reach gold is way too much for so little time left. He has an incentive there to continue to build the fervor against Rockstar and Take-Two. He has a reason to present the game in a less flattering light, right? So yeah, maybe he did something to make it worse intentionally. The game will obviously look worse compared to the trailers. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying comparing the different leaks look better or worse. Lucia looks better in the previous leaks than she does in this leak, and not in a way that's explained by a lack of makeup.
Everyone here, CLOB has an old build with nothing to show. Also everyone here, gasp, how dare he show us Prologue, arrest this man. Low IQ collective.
What are you... That is the most impressive straw man I've heard from anyone throughout this entire situation. It's not that he has nothing to show, it's that what he's showing us isn't particularly valuable. Those are very different things. And being like, okay, showing us the open world isn't that big of a deal is very different than being like, showing the entire fucking story. What are you talking about? Those are entirely different things. You are brain dead, sir. Do you believe the game is actually unfinished and could disappoint us? No. I don't think they'll release it unless it's in a good state. I thought this person was just saying, as a joke, did you know your Discord got subpoenaed? But they're saying here, I don't know if you already knew, but your Discord server got a subpoena, probably due to this guy, whose username is in the Discord subpoena, being in your server and interacting there. The message in the second screenshot was sent in the other server, me and him have in common. RIP, Nani, and they were in Dad's code and my server. Guys, I need your advice. I trolled a cyber leak as a little joke and now I'm on the news. Look up Surfer24K Cyberleak GT6. Surfer24K and replacement handle Cyberleak_West and Sir West. Is it possible that cinematic Rockstar guy was also in my Discord? Well, that's as good an explanation as any that I've heard. So I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm tired. I'm sorry for anyone whose alert didn't go off there, as I kind of went through everything fairly quickly. I appreciate your support and kindness as always. thank you for all the donations and subs and support and all this jazz. And I'm sorry my reading was so bad. And I'll see you next time. And peace out, guys. Boop.